What would you do if you woke up tomorrow as an ant? Believe it or not, this has been asked by an Oxbridge admissions tutor during an actual admissions interview. Why would they ask this? Let's go through 3 examples of strange interview questions to understand what admissions tutors can learn about you, as well as considering the best ways to approach them as an applicant. For full advice on Oxbridge interviews, including plenty of practice questions and student experiences, be sure to download the Big Book of Oxbridge applications today for free. So, if you're not already aware, every college at both Oxford and Cambridge will invite a selection of potential students for every degree to a series of interviews in December each year. These are designed to let the admissions tutors get to know the applicants that they may be teaching and testing their academic skills in an environment designed to mimic a tutorial or supervision session. Most of the questions asked during these interviews will be fairly standard types of questions, including questions about your personal motivations or experiences, discussion prompts for topics relevant to the course, and problems that you'll need to solve. While you can't predict exactly what you'll be asked, you can prepare a general strategy for each question type to ensure you don't panic and provide an appropriate response. But then there are the curveball questions that can catch you off guard if you're not adequately prepared for them. It's not guaranteed that you'll be asked anything like this, but many Oxbridge admissions tutors like to test applicants in unconventional ways, so you shouldn't assume that every question will be predictable. To understand what you need to look for, let's explore some strange interview questions that were given to uni admissions tutors during their interviews, starting with the ant question. Yes, an applicant was really asked what they would do if they woke up as an ant. But just because the scenario is impossible, it doesn't mean you can't provide a compelling answer to the question. Obviously, a question like this requires a lot of imagination, which is exactly what admissions tutors are looking for. Creative problem solving is an essential skill for any Oxford or Cambridge student, and asking questions related to the course subject can potentially limit the imagination you can display when problem solving. Hence, we have a strange scenario like this. When answering something like this, the key is to look for the most logical and active response to the situation, no matter how silly it feels to say. In this scenario, it may make more sense to lie there and cry over your lost Oxbridge dreams, as an ant has yet to be admitted there, but it's your job to spring into action and make the most of the situation. If you were an ant, you could approach the situation in a number of ways. You may try and communicate with a family member or friend, or you may accept your new life and find a colony to integrate with. The interviewers may bounce back with additional factors that may affect your plans, so you'll need to think fast to find an appropriate response, almost like a game of Dungeons & Dragons. Next, what is a sense? Vague questions like this are more common than ant ones, but they can throw you off track even worse than strange scenarios if you aren't sure what you're exactly being asked. Oxbridge interview questions are sometimes difficult because they are hardly understandable as a meaningful phrase. You have to remember that this is because you choose how to answer the question. This isn't the type of question that you should aim to seek a lot of clarification on, as it defeats the whole purpose of interpreting the question yourself, which is partly why you're being asked it. Instead, you could choose to answer this question in terms of what a sense means for humans, as in one of the 5 senses, or you could consider what a sense is, as in what does something mean if it makes sense. There's no wrong path to take. When answering a question like this, it may help to discuss things as your beliefs rather than as facts. While the literal definitions you provide may be true, the question is so vague that you should consider multiple options for what is actually being asked, even if you choose to focus on a single interpretation. A question like this is the perfect opportunity to think out loud, something that is recommended when you're in your interviews, as long as you keep your thought process logical. This last one is an incredibly tough one, but it's also thankfully very rare. Would you believe me if I said right now that you have not secured your place at Oxford? Ouch. That's not what you want to hear in your interview. But it should be nowhere near as concerning as it sounds, and there are actually good ways to approach this. Firstly, let's consider what you may interpret from this question. If your interviewer is bringing up the idea that you've not been successful to your face, that's an indicator that you've not got your place, or at least it feels that way. In reality, unless you've really fumbled the interview, no decisions will be made during the interview itself. So, if you're being asked this, it's most likely a hypothetical situation, and potentially even an indicator that they find you to be particularly promising, as it's a very tough question to think through. With this in mind, it's essential that you don't get emotional about it, as that's not going to help you prove that you are a logical and determined candidate. However, providing a simple yes or no answer is also a very poor response. Saying yes shows a complete lack of confidence or ability to stand up for yourself, but saying no will usually come off as overconfident or arrogant. One potential response that would land better is to ask for feedback on why this is the case. You can also delve deeper into ideas such as what authority and trust mean within our social system, though a response like that may only work in certain fields, like social sciences. These are all pretty crazy questions, but they all have a purpose and can all be fairly easy to take on if you're prepared to answer them. Here are some general tips that can help you work through any weird questions that may get thrown your way. Firstly, these questions can't be predicted ahead of time. You can go in assuming that you may be asked a weird question, but you have virtually no chance of guessing what it will be. That's why the rest of these tips are all very general, so you can apply them to any strange question you may be asked. As I mentioned before, be sure to think out loud, explaining your thought process as you go. This includes indicating why you have interpreted a question a certain way, or how you would work through a scenario. These aren't questions that require any theoretical knowledge, so stick to what you know rather than trying to guess or make up information that you feel may be helpful to your answer. Engage with the admissions tutor rather than just talking at them. If you have a question, ask them, especially if it's something that doesn't seem quite clear to you. None of these answers are going to be perfect or even objectively correct in most cases, so try to have some fun with it and let your imagination run wild, as long as you can justify your answers with logic and reason. Remember, these questions are only going to make up a small portion of your interview, if you're even asked any at all, so don't worry too much about preparing for them. Just be aware that they could pop up, and remember the tips I provided to give an effective response every time. I hope this video has been helpful for your Oxbridge interview preparation, and for more on Oxford and Cambridge, be sure to subscribe.